Hey everybody, welcome to Tuesday Night Principal Chiro Broadcast, sponsored by DE and Band of Brothers around the world. Got a special guest tonight, Katie. Um, Katie is she's been in practice 21 years. She and her husband both have two practices, one in Kittering, Maine, and the other one is in Kittybunkport, Maine. They are servants. They both are servants. Katie is the RA of for the ICA for Maine, and her husband is on the board for the ICA of Maine, or on the entire board. Been coming to DE for a long, long time. Been in practice 21 years, rocking it. Always there to serve, and I'm just excited to hear her talk about what she got to bring for us tonight. But before we do, got a couple things we want to talk about. Number one is the block for DE is over. The hotel block is over, but there is a waiting list. So as they're on there, just jump in on that waiting list to get you in there. The block is closed, but I'm sure there's going to be some rooms open up. DE is 2 weeks from this week. It's April 10th through the 13th in beautiful Clearwater Beach, Florida. And I'm sure the weather's going to be awesome, but it's going to be hotter than heck inside there because the seminar is going to be awesome. Again, if you're not aware of what groups you're in, reach out to me or reach out to Kat. We can make sure you are attached to a group. Best team obviously is the purple team, and we're rocking it. But we're just going to bring the energy at this DE, and we're going to connect together, and it's just going to be a love fest. So, with no further ado, make sure you're registered for the next DE coming up. And let's hear it from the RA from the great state of Maine, Miss Katie Gay. Take it, girl.
Thank you, Andy. I'm excited to be here and excited for DE to be coming up, which feels like, honestly, could be tomorrow, but it's 2 weeks away. This idea I've been having in my head basically since the start of this year is this idea of seasons of sowing seeds and seasons of reaping the harvest, because 2025 so far has been fantastic for me and for us, and things that I've been, wanting to manifest or that I've been trying to visualize for a long time are really coming to fruition, seemingly just on their own and very easily, which is fantastic. But I have to remind myself that it's never that it's just accidentally happening. These are all from things that I've been working on in the past, some things years in the past, and some things just months in the past. These are all seeds that I've been planting. So when I'm kind of in this flow that we're in right now, where everything's just effortlessly flowing, and new patients are showing up, and everyone's healings are even more miraculous than before, and people are reaching out for us to do talks or whatever you're looking for. It's all from the things that we've done in the past. And maybe I'm thinking that because we're in New England and it was like 70 degrees on Saturday and snowed yesterday, and we're in season changes, but I'm glad to build up these seasons. And these are things that I learned at DE, obviously, is that we plant the seeds today for the harvest that we want to reap tomorrow, and always be building that. So I was driving to the office probably the beginning of February-ish, and I was thinking to myself, well, I'm not a person who sees like a million new patients a week. I see new patients and I keep new patients. That's really my secret to success right there, is keep them. But obviously people, come and go at some time. So I was driving to the office and I was thinking, it'd be really nice if there's some people that I really, really loved would come back, with no real person in mind at all, to be honest with you. But just someone who I really love taking care of, and someone who's such a pleasure to see. And, there must have been some of those who have fallen off along the way. And literally, this is how God always works and presents the solution. That exact afternoon, I got an email from a patient who I loved. I took care of her all through her pregnancy, quite a bit in postpartum, and I have no idea what happened to her. But the subject line was just reestablishing care. And then I was like, oh, I loved her. She's like so great. And literally in that same day, I got multiple referrals from her. And then the next morning, I got a text message from a patient who her mom had a pretty bad accident. So she and her baby had gone back to Montana for an undetermined amount of time, and they left before the holidays. And she was like, we're back. Can we come in tomorrow? And then I got another email from a family who I took care of. I started taking care of them, I guess it'd be probably 9 years ago this summer. When I first met them, the mom had just come off of deployment. She had really bad PTSD. She's a trauma nurse. She served in Afghanistan. And she just was the kind of person that, when you get that patient who just, they hear the story and they instantly get it, like it just clicked, like it made sense to her. I explained to her that when we're subluxated, we're disconnected from source. We're not being our true authentic self. We're not expressing who we are. And she really got it. And they were great patients for a really, really long time. I'm not exactly sure where they went. I mean, she's had multiple babies with me, and she's been there. So whatever, they fell off at some point. And she emailed me and she said, we need to come back. Can we please come back? When can you get us in? How much is it? We'll be there. I emailed her back. They came in the next day. And so in doing her scan and kind of updating, doing her scan, figuring out if we need new x-rays, all of that stuff, I was talking to her and she said that she'd been experiencing a ton of stress, and she was starting to have these strange symptoms that she, couldn't figure out on her own. But what really motivated her to send the email about coming back was right before the holidays, their oldest, who's 15, they actually had to put into a hospital for suicide threats. And she said his anger and his behavior had just gotten really crazy. He became a threat to themselves and the rest of their children and to himself. And then when she started having these symptoms, she said to her husband, she was like, we got to go back to Dr. Katie. Like, we are disconnected. There's no way that we're connected. There's no way that we're not subluxated, or this would not be happening. And I thought that that's so important, because when we can get people to really realize, whether they come or go in between, that when we're subluxated, predominantly our atlas, when we are disconnected from our innate intelligence and from being who we're really supposed to be, that's when these things start to happen. So we restarted this family, did scans, did new films, did whatever. And when they came back later in the week, I said to the boy, he didn't know that his mom had told me about the suicide threats. She said, how'd you do after your first adjustment back? And he was like, I slept so great. He said, I feel like me. And the mom said, she was like, actually, we all really did. She said, I think we were really stuck in fight or flight, like you talk about all the time. And she said, I think we just needed a reboot. And they're doing great right now. But I'm certain that these were from seeds that I sowed, 9 years ago when I first met them at the time. And then, so I have this guy that I was taking care of at the end of the year. And the very beginning of the year, he text messaged me my first day back, because we closed for Christmas and New Year's. He was like, I'd like to get my wife in. Gets his wife in. She's fantastic. She said, oh man, I really should have been here when he started care. She found out she had some breast cancer, had some surgeries, like fast forwarded all these things. Like it went boom, 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 boom. She was like, I should have been here before I did all of that. I was like, oh, no big deal. You're here now. Like, we'll get you working, get your body healing, get it thriving. So then they get ready to start their kids under care. So their oldest is 17. She's a senior in high school. She's sitting in my reception area, filling out her paperwork, getting ready to come. Another family I take care of was like, oh my gosh, you're here. I didn't know you came here. How long have you been here? And the girl was like, oh, well, today is my first day. And my other family was like, well, how did you find Dr. Katie? And they're like, well, you told us about her. And the mom right then was like, that's true. Your daughter in high school, like probably 3 years ago, told this daughter in high school that they needed to be coming to get adjusted. And the mom said to the daughter, to the now new one who's coming in, said, we're not doing that right now. And so now it's become this big joke with this family, because now the daughter's like, but we are doing that now. And they're doing great. But I think the reason that then was, it was a seed sown, not even by me, by other kids I take care of. But I think it's because people are actually desperately seeking what we do now more than ever. People are looking for something different. They're not looking to do what they've always been doing or get the same answers that they've always been getting. Like this girl, this 17-year-old girl, she is incredibly sick. The mom said to me, she's chronically sick. The mom is a nurse, a retired nurse now. But she said her daughter has been chronically sick for probably 5 solid years. And they can't figure out what's going on. She has chronic constipation that she's on a bunch of medication for, and she's getting ready to go to college, and she wants to be healthy. She wants to enjoy her freshman year in college, all of her years, but she wants to be healthy. And that's why they were joking that, oh, we're not doing this now. But now they are. Now they're doing this and they're all in. And now the whole family comes in to get adjusted together. And it's this big laugh. They said they talk about getting adjusted all the time because they want it. People want what we have so much that they are seeking it. They want the different solutions. And we are the only ones that have this. We are the only ones looking to detect and correct subluxation so that people can be connected to their innate intelligence so they can express their full potential 100% all of the time. No one else has that to offer at all. Even though, I know my husband did this call a couple weeks ago and he was talking about, we just got back from Pure and Powerful, and I spoke at Pure and Powerful, and I was talking about how I see in the moms groups when people are looking for chiropractors, and this person had posted, I'm looking for a great pediatric chiropractor, and someone had replied, I adjust children. And I was like, who is that in my area? And I looked it up and it was actually an osteopath. And I was like, now they are actually putting that they adjust children, which before, come on, these are our words. This is what we do. We own this. This is our thing. So our message has to be so loud and so clear that they know that we are the ones that adjust children. As the universe would have it, I was pretty fired up about this lady. I went down this rabbit hole about all these things that she did. The day that we got back from Mexico, the very next day, patients of mine were having an open house at a new gym that they opened, and they had asked us to attend. And this lady was there. So my patient was like, oh, this is Dr. Katie. She's my chiropractor. And the lady was like, oh, I'm an osteopath. And she proceeds to list off all of these things that she does and can do for me or for her people. She said she could do blood testing. She does pap smears and digital rectal exams. She does cupping. And then she asked me if I wanted Botox and fillers. And I was like, that's going to be a hard no. She was like, oh, I thought so. But these are the people out there saying that they adjust children. If our voice isn't loud enough, if people don't know that we do this, chiropractors, that's it. That should be all we do. So after I met this lady on that day, we had our mommy event in my office. And one of the moms said to me, oh my gosh, did you meet that osteopath? And I said, yeah, I did. And she was like, well, what did you think? And I was not going to say anything bad at all. I said, oh, I don't know. Like, what did you think? And she said, all I thought was she's a jack of all trades and a master of none. And I said, oh, is that not the kind of person that you want to bring your children to? And they're like, absolutely not. We want to take our kids to someone who we trust and someone who's amazing at what they do. And I think that's where we really own this whole arena. As chiropractors, as principled chiropractors, as DE chiropractors, we know better than anyone how to give and love and serve to these people. We know better than anyone how to check and correct subluxation and just be that hope and that light for these people because they are searching for it, literally searching for it. So much so that other professions now want to be what we have, which makes it even more important at this time for us to stay in our lane because everybody else, all these other professions can be mixing in all these other things and doing all these other things. We just need to stay in our lane. We need to be the ones who are finding it and fixing it and loving these people and giving them hope. That's it, at least in my office. So hopefully in your offices, that's something that works for you too. And so the other thing that I was thinking about with this whole sowing, planting and sowing and planting and sowing is when I was driving to work that day and I was thinking about, people coming back, it was that easy, right? It was that easy of like thinking about it and then it's delivered. And that is a timeless concept. If you've been going to DE for a long time, if you spend any time with Sigafus, if you spend any time with Santo or any of these people, we have to think it and then we have to believe it and we will receive it. And that's what makes it so easy. That's what makes like the times when we're just reaping the harvest so incredibly easy because we've already seen it. The vision's so crystal clear already that all we have to do is receive it. This year, one of my things that I committed to myself again was making sure that every single week I do something else chiropractic. I love that, post the craziness of a few years ago, we have the opportunity to have the Florida Band of Brothers, and I try to be on that literally every Monday. These calls on Tuesday, and I very rarely do these live because quite honestly, I'm usually asleep, but I usually do them on Wednesday. or listen to them in the car. I love that Jen is putting out these podcasts. It's just another way that we can stay connected and stay excited about these stories, and remember that we have this huge gift that we can offer humanity, because we are on the cusp of a massive change, and we should be the front leaders of this massive change. Who better really than DE chiropractors? I feel like Dr. Sid laid this foundation out for us, and really all we have to do is follow it. So in that committing to doing these things, I've also started to go back to my morning routine is really important to me, and it's very strict. But what I realized that I was missing was I had dropped off some of the reading of chiropractic in the morning. So this year I've gone back to reading the different books again. Right now I'm reading the Meadowlands again, and I really love reading the Meadowlands, because if you had the privilege of actually experiencing Dr. Sid in real life, you can hear him reading it to you, which is what I love. I can hear him telling it to me, and just talking about the new ones and the care and what we love, and we love them here and we bring them here, and it makes me excited. Not that I wasn't excited if I forgot to read, but it makes me excited to go in and to stay my purpose and stay my course, and to be that beacon of light in our community that people are looking for. And the last thing that I was kind of thinking about is when we're at DE, like when we're at DE 2 weeks from now, it's amazing, first of all. And if you haven't been to DE, then you don't know what you're missing out on. But it's amazing in so many levels. Yes, there's going to be the speakers, and they're incredible. But then there's going to be the connections after. And one of the things that I was thinking about was there's these connections that we build through DE that, whether you call them like your accountability partners or your mastermind group or mentors or whatever it is, like get with someone who has a common goal. Your goals will not yours, maybe. My goals change all the time, whether I'm shedding something or growing something or trying to manifest something. But there's always someone else there who's working on that same thing. And for me, something that's been huge in my practice over all of the years is finding someone that I can kind of link up with, and someone who I'm like, I'm doing this and they're doing that too. And then you become accountable to each other, and it really helps you to push yourself forward. I know, I guess it'll be a year ago in April is when Steve LaFay and I were talking about doing orientations again. And if he hadn't agreed and I hadn't agreed, I don't know that either one of us would have started doing them again at that moment. So use DE for the time to get redipped in the principle, but also to find what it is that you need to take yourself to the next level. Because as Sigafoos used to always say, grow the chiropractor and the practice will grow. And DE is a great vessel to help us all grow to be the best that we can be, whether that's the chiropractor, the mother, the wife, the sister, whoever it is, right? To grow us to be literally the best human that we can be. I think that's it. Hopefully you got something from this, and I can't wait to see everybody in April in Florida.
Great job. I love your languaging, about connecting and, getting the connection. So when people do leave and they start feeling they're disconnected, they come back. You know what I'm saying? And it's not the difference between chiropractors, DE chiropractors. Andy Harding now speaks so different than Andy Harding way back when, because it's not about pain. It's not about, all that other stuff. It's about reconnecting, removing the interference and reconnecting. And therefore, when that family goes through, who knows, that young boy alive today still because he's reconnected, and his mom and dad's life is different. So very important. That's awesome. And again, speaking of connecting, now we go to DE and we get reconnected. And I love what you said, getting somebody that's going through the same stuff you're going through, hold each other accountable, like you and LaFay, getting your doctors talk together. Just that's so important. And again, we always go back to Dr. Sid, grow the chiropractor, grow the practice grows. So true. That's awesome.
It's easy. All we can do is mess it up.
And we do it usually, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
That's awesome. Well, great job. Thank you. I will see you next week at the ICA thing. And then the following week
is DE. And all of you, if you haven't heard, Dr. Eddie Cordero, our guy, is running the ICA. So know when you see us at ICA, or excuse me, at DE, we're probably going to ask you to join up the ICA because it's running it our way now. So it's vitally important, and the ICA is getting better, and we are there to protect chiropractic, and that therefore chiropractic is chiropractic. It's not manipulation and all the stuff that you rattled off, the cupping that the osteopath does. We are what we are, and what we do is awesome. Love you, Katie. See you in next week. Everybody, get registered for D. See you there in a couple weeks. Love y'all.